It's our final entry in this year's musical March in September, and we've got a magical little film about roller discos, muses, the stylings of old Hollywood big band musicals, and 1980 flashy fantasy musicals. It's like it's a movie that dares movie cynics like me to grumpy myself to death.
Everybody all around the world, gotta tell you what I just heard. There's gonna be a party all over the world.
In 1980, one thing was very clear. Either you Xanadu or you Xanadon't. And I don't want people to question my highbrow movie credentials, so I definitely Xanadon't. Xanadu is the story of Sonny Malone, an artist who specializes in album cover replicas, who one day dreams of fame and fortune and club owning. All with the help of his muse, Olivia Newton-John. 1980 was a fantastic time to be a dreamer on roller skates. That's how Steve Guttenberg founded the Village People. What started out as a low-budget roller disco film, the budget soon ballooned up to $20 million, causing it to only break even at the box office, but the film later went on to achieve a sizable cult following, and the movie soundtrack by the Electric Light Orchestra was a gigantic success and went double platinum in the US. The movie was also cited as being one of the inspirations for the Razzies and was listed as one of the best bad movies ever in John Wilson's official Razzie movie guide. Which means there's a decent percentage that it's not bad. Although it doesn't seem to get space right. You can't fly a plane around the Earth like that. It would blow up before reaching orbit. I guess this is what happens when you don't cut away from the Universal logo. The movie Xanadu starts playing every single time. Hey, wait a minute. That's not the plane that was orbiting a few seconds ago. Bad continuity movie. And now it's one of those flying things from Plan 9 from outer space. So far the movie has one critic. Superman is doing his best to speed up time to get through this movie quicker. We now open on what else might have been happening on the beach in the opening scene in Greece. Artist Sonny Malone is played by actor Michael Beck, who probably saw the name of his character and thought he was participating in a hardcore gangster film. Sonny spends most of his time painting toasters and things that look like toasters. He'll probably electrocute himself in a bathtub later. After days and days of drawing and painting and drawing and painting, finally the character of Two-Face was created. Unfortunately, he is his worst critic.
Guys like me shouldn't dream anyway.
Judging from the magic paper you just threw out the window, guys like you shouldn't dream, but they should definitely do some drugs. What the hell was Joel Silver on when he produced this movie? Famously, Joel Silver held one of the screenwriters hostage until they finished the script, which explains the really out-of-place scene in which Joel Silver gets raped by a bunch of inbred hillbillies. Not since Stargard's Lucy in Disguise with Diamonds has advertising artwork come to life to really confuse me. I don't know who you are, so I'm just gonna call you Dildo Head. Oh, thank God, she's alive. Who's she? Here they are recreating that famous opening scene from Rocky Horror, and by that I mean Egyptian Rocky Horror. These are either a group of muses springing to life, or this is the second worst origin story for the Fantastic Four. And she was apparently born with roller skating skills. Highly unlikely.
What the?
Huh, don't see that every day. That's quite a normal reaction to Olivia Newton-John kissing you and then gliding off like fucking Tron. Since Sonny is low on money, he goes back to work painting large album covers for store windows. As you do. But things were going so well at his previous house, which was apparently a tugboat from a children's cartoon. The hell kind of albums does he paint anyway?
I spend my whole life painting what other people want. I paint his van, I paint somebody else's mural, I paint Simpsons album covers.
You painted the Simpsons songs in the key of Springfield? Simpson is actually Sonny's boss, who treats him with the utmost respect.
Why the hell did you take me back?
Simple. You're good.
I mean, you're not Frank Kelly Frias painting News of the World good, but you could probably paint a white snake cover or two. But all Sonny can talk about is the superhero he ran into on the sidewalk.
Yeah? I was walking through the park. She nearly ran over me. Then she kissed me.
And then she shot away like a falling star. You kinda left that part out. Perhaps Larry Bird can help him find her.
There wasn't supposed to be a model on this cover. I snapped maybe 100 shots. In one of them, this girl just jumped into frame.
And then she's gonna sue you for not getting likeness rights. Such a beautiful area. This was back when mustard bottles would sell hot dogs. I'm kinda glad the Warriors didn't take place in Coney Island. Turns out their home life isn't very tough at all. On the beach, Sonny bumps into Gene Kelly, who plays Danny McGuire, the same character that he played in the 1944 film CoverGirl. That movie was the story of a beautiful woman who becomes a vanity cover girl, which really does a number on her romance with her dancing mentor. It's practically the same movie as this. Sonny spots the muse and luckily runs into the most understanding people on the beach.
Oh, hi, listen, I gotta borrow this. I'll bring it back.
Sure.
Despite her being perfectly okay with your thievery, you're a fucking warrior. You should take the motorcycle, don't ask. Regardless, this is Swan we're talking about. I'm sure he knows how to ride a motorcycle. And now you're being sued by the person you stole that bike from. Instead of saving him, she flies off to join the rest of the Powerpuff Girls. I'm sure the hospital can wait. Instead, he meets Danny to have a cup full of popsicles. But Danny gives him some solid advice about searching for the girl.
If I said it sounded crazy, would you stop looking for her?
No.
And why ask?
Okay, maybe instead he should give him advice to not paint windowless vans. Seriously, I don't think we need to be dressing up rape vans to make them look pretty. Sonny is now very late for school, so he hitches a ride through Hill Valley to meet Jennifer before going to class. He finds the building from the album cover, an abandoned Art Deco auditorium. Perhaps that's where she is. Hello, ABBA is here! She has to skate around this abandoned building since her hometown outlawed roller skating. They both seem to hit it off fine.
Because before today, I never laid eyes on you. Now I've seen you 3 times in one day. That's a little too coincidental.
Well, it's not terribly coincidental if you're stalking the person. Sonny desperately wants to see her again, not because he knows anything about her, but because she's really, really hot. Though he does find out her name.
Hey, wait a minute. I don't know your name.
Ah, so she's also a vigilante who uses a death note as her weapon. Perfect! Anyway, back to painting this fantastic portrait of Linda Evans. Sonny is very mad that Simpson is trying to dictate his artwork, but it's imperative the Phantom of the Opera is on there somewhere. Are we supposed to be rooting for Sonny to be bad at his job?
But sometimes I see more in these covers than what's really there.
That's nice. I'm paying you to paint what I want, so paint it, ass! Since he coincidentally runs into Danny as well, that must mean he also wants to bang Danny.
Ah, Glenn Miller.
Yeah, you wouldn't know about him. He's before your time.
Is he the one who spanked the girl in True Grit? No, that's Glenn Campbell, you idiot. Sonny goes back to Danny's place and finds out that Danny has a history in playing music.
That's me.
Hey, that's all right.
Playing clarinet on an album with Glenn Miller requires a little more than just, it's alright. Sonny also notices Kira on the album, but he's then cut off by Danny. I think this is rather important. He just discovered an immortal. Danny, however, was also infatuated with this girl, which means that Sonny will turn out just like Danny. Incredibly rich! Sure, he talks to his albums when he's alone, but he's rich!
I'm getting old, babe. You wouldn't even know me now. But I know you.
I say the same thing to my Andrea True Connection album. Wait a minute, this isn't Danny's house at all. It's the Overlook Hotel. This happens to me when I'm alone too, only it's always the nudist colony of the dead. At least he got the hottest of the Andrews sisters. I don't know why, but I've got the sudden urge to buy war bonds. This is rather charming. It's a nice combination of musical stylings from the 40s to 1980, and Gene Kelly doing a fun song and dance routine with Olivia Newton-John is a much better choice than if he did a dance with the Cadillac Cats in place of Jerry. This was Gene Kelly's last film before his passing. What starts as an upbeat love letter to his filmography turns into a bittersweet goodbye to Gene Kelly himself. But whatever, roller skating is stupid. Oh, Kira does the most adorable breaking and entering. Sonny has agreed to help Danny find a location for Danny to open up a new music venue, and with Kira's help, they'll have plenty of eye candy. So Kira recommends the Art Deco. And speaking of art, what does being a park club owner have to do with being an artist?
It's a place you want. What about this one? My place, where we met.
That? Forget it.
I think it has a very special aura about it.
It's a dump.
It's my home, asshole. Enough of that. Sonny uses his studio access to sneak Kira onto the set of Xanadu. The hell kind of movie is being filmed on this set? It's like a sitcom with a floating exhaust chimney from outer space. I'm sure it'll make sense when the characters get to the desert. Oop, you can see the fan. Now how am I supposed to believe this is the real Sahara Desert? Whatever it is being filmed, it has better rain effects than Fangs. Look, here's what we need. We need a bench, a robot locomotive, and a lot of steam. Don't ask why, I'm a genius.
Suddenly, the wheels are in motion, and
Oh yeah, and the music is good too. They're caught by Simpson, who I guess just hangs out there alone all night.
Holy shit!
It was great.
You were great.
Our first dance together.
And then a fire was caused on set, and Sonny was immediately arrested. Sonny agrees to show Danny the building, and if that doesn't work, he's gonna strangle her to death. It's a little late in the movie to introduce goofy scene transitions. If Danny can't be won over by the building, then perhaps roller skating can win him over?
Of course, it's not small and intimate like my club in New York, but then again, that was back in 1945, and things are bigger now.
We can let a lot more minorities into the club nowadays. I say go for the building. Look, it even comes with its own bandstand.
No. Bandstands went out with running boards. Over there. A great rock and roll band. This is the 80s.
So get Scorpion on the line, stat. This is quite literally turning into the 1940s versus the 1980s in live performance stylings. Either you get drunk off your ass from whiskey, or high off your ass with whatever you just snorted off the bass player's abs. Whoa. Keep it down, 1940s. 1980 is starting to freak the fuck out. Uh-oh, 1940 just let in some black people. Get them to 1980, quick!
forget about the blues tonight. Sweet thing, forget about the rules.
Damn, ELO went really out of their way to sound different on this one. What's 1980 up to?
I wanna let you know I won't take a backseat.
Just as I figured, they just did a line of Angel Dust off an Autobahn album. They're not even playing music now, they're just hitting random instruments before the orgy starts. 1980 does have the right idea though. With the power of dragon sound, they can truly be against the ninja. This has more spandex cocks than 12 Satan's alleys. Oh shit, 1940 and 1980 facing off? It's on now. Not sure what's gonna happen here, but I know it's somehow gonna create Pat Travers snorting whiskey. And then the 1960s show up and everyone stops showering and rolls around in a field of mud. And 1990s comes around and declares themselves way too good for any of this. Except for the rolling around in the mud part. The Magic Bands have convinced him this would be the perfect building to buy. But what the hell do they call this place?
In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree.
Uh-oh. Someone's been hanging out with 1980 too much. Good thing Danny doesn't recognize Kira as that girl he obsessed over for nearly 40 years. He's distracted because they finally have a name for the place.
Xanadu.
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 Club will probably just break even. But that's good enough for Sonny to have enough balls to quit his job.
I'm fired! Malone, I want you out of here in 5 minutes. That's 5 minutes, Malone.
I don't think you know how being fired works. No matter. They've got to celebrate by drinking champagne that only a starving artist could afford. This is so romantic. Oh shit, never mind, it's a fucking paradox. She's him from another dimension, and now that they've touched, they've magically turned into Tinkerbell and John Smith. This is very impressive, but I'm not sure how turning into fish is gonna help them save Fern Gully. Just think, while all this animation is going on, 1980 just OD'd behind a dumpster in West Hollywood. And why is her hair much longer in animated form? That makes no sense. Although I'm guessing that they totally just banged. And why would you suddenly turn animated when the rest of the movie has been live action? It's a good thing I didn't blink my eyes, or I totally would have thought I accidentally sat on the remote and another movie started. I'm sure they got the finest crew to put this together.
When you guys told me you're building a dream, I thought you were crazy.
Yeah.
Most people on skyscrapers, you put them in 20 minutes.
Remind me to never go to one of your skyscrapers. They're gonna need only the best threads for this opening, so they take Danny to the nearest clothes-changing montage. Of course they're coming to life. Was every musical from this era fucking Mannequin? I like this lineup. First he's Zito for Miami Vice, and then he tries on the complete wardrobe from the Rudy Ray Moore line of clothing. Aha, now he's ready to arrange a bet with the Bandit to bootleg some Coors.
All over the world, everybody got the word.
And now they're lifting music from the Paul soundtrack. This is very skeevy. The employees only do this when Gene Kelly comes in. When Rick James comes into the shop, they take turns slapping each other. And then their sign is created with the power of dance. This movie sets unrealistic goals. You need a crew to build that sign, not a rockin' tune. If that's what you're settling on, then why even hire a crew to begin with? This is a great partnership. Danny puts up all the money, and Sonny gets the girl. A girl that Danny still doesn't recognize.
Well, I haven't had an opening night since 1945. Wow. I guess I got the jitters.
Well, just pretend we're back in 1945 all over again.
Well, okay, now we're off to Hitler's bunker. Unfortunately, Kira reveals to Sonny that she's a muse and that falling in love with him was never supposed to happen. So what did he think she was before? Just a walking beam of light?
I'm the daughter of Zeus. I have 8 sisters. My real name is
The hell kind of name is Terp? It must be short for turpentine, which is why she smells a little bit like the fluid drained from pine trees. Sonny actually needs to read the dictionary to find out what a muse is, and this is where he also finds out that she's the mouth of an animal and also a museum. Perhaps this movie will convince him.
Ah, yes, you did tell me. What should I do, Sonny? Dive at him or, make a martini?
What?
Yeah, great. A choose-your-own-adventure movie. So it was the muse that created Mr. Payback? I guess she has to leave, for some reason.
I'll love you forever.
And from then on, to prevent muses from falling in love, muses were no longer hot chicks. Instead, they look more so like Louis De Palma's backside. Sonny is quite sad over this and tells Danny that he can't go to Xanadu's opening, mainly because he just read Roger Ebert's review. Danny, however, convinces him otherwise.
Now, if you give up, you'll be sitting on that rock 30 years from now, just like I was. I know how you feel, kid. I felt the same way once. I did.
But again, on the plus side, if you're anything like Danny, you'll be incredibly rich. And as Danny puts it, it shouldn't be that hard to get Kira back.
Somehow, somewhere, there's a way to get her. If she got here, there's a way to get there. Believe me, kid.
See? All you need to do is master multi-dimensional travel. You'll be fine. Ooh, this is the right place to look for. She hates bicycles. And this is a very long way to go for Swan to audition for the punks. He just wants Kira. The rest of them can rot in the painting for all he cares.
I take the fall.
Well, that was easy. And that also could have ended horribly. He just saw a Roadrunner cartoon that day and knew he could run through a brick wall. There's a look of someone who didn't expect Sonny to be this smart.
Nobody's ever taken anyone out of here. Not in the whole history of... the whole history.
In prehistoric times, however, this happened constantly. Unfortunately, her dad Zeus is very mad about this union.
We don't use those old-fashioned names anymore.
Call me Steve.
We need to be together.
All right, that's enough. You're leaving, Kira's staying. No more discussions. Those are the rules, and that's all there is to it.
Oh, damn. Zeus is a real cynic in this movie. Something tells me he would really, really hate the movie Xanadu. And just how I always envisioned Mount Olympus, as an old Cinemax TV bumper. Sunny is sent back to Earth, and Kira is sent to her room to solo. Unfortunately, the title Hopelessly Devoted to Sonny Malone doesn't quite have the same ring to it. Maybe Zeus will make a deal with her. If the main characters in Two of a Kind fall in love, she can leave and he won't destroy the world. Olivia Newton-John actually turned down a role in Can't Stop the Music to be in this movie. I don't have a joke here, that was a really good decision. It's opening night at Flickering Xanadu, where if you're not a professional roller skater, you're screwed. This is what happens when you let other people rent out the rollerball court. There's not nearly as many heads being bashed in. There's no cover charge at this club, just 3 years dance experience required. So is Kira gonna show up or not?
A place where nobody dared to go. The love that we came to know, they call it...
Xanadu was meant to propel Olivia Newton-John into headlining movie stardom, but due to its box office disappointment, she never solo headlined a movie again, and didn't return to movie musicals until Score, a hockey musical. Whatever, it's no shout. This is a whole lot of yawn. Do this across the World Trade Center, then I'll be interested. I'm rather surprised they rated this X. They're really taking advantage of the self-rating system. Hey, look, seriously, can we just get our drinks, please? Xanadu, where at the end of every night we hang a woman by the neck. Don't worry, guests finally get their drinks during the half-hour costume change. I have many opinions about the new Ghostbusters costumes, and they're all very nitpicky. If Sonny hadn't found her, what was the opening night gonna be? Just a flapper passing out cigarettes? And they just finished the title song. How is this still going?
I'm sure I should pass that lonely down.
You're starting to lose me, movie. John Travolta turned down the role of Sonny the same year he did Urban Cowboy, so apparently this was the year of offering Travolta roles with cowboy hats. Now is the musical number over?
Now that I'm here, now that you're near, in Xanadu.
Well, you saw it, audience. Magic exists. Now are you cool with the $1,000 cover charge? And Swan should really know better than to wear competing gang colors when we can see them. After Kira disappears, Sonny does what any man would do. He finds a waitress that looks like her and goes for her instead.
I mean, I'd just like to talk to you.
I'm sticking by my words. I definitely Xanadon't, which is why on weekends you'll find me being at home, bored, reading week-old newspapers, and drinking a bottle of clinker brick wine, secretly wishing that I was out having fun. Xanadu did, however, gain much critical attention on stage when in 2007 it was adapted as a Broadway musical, becoming a surprise hit and even gaining a number of Tony nominations. While Real Views and Slant Magazine offered the movie a more positive outlook, most of the consensus was summed up with, "Yup, this is stupid." I, for one, trust any review that incorporates the word yup. But the real critical nail in the coffin comes from Bill O'Reilly, who deemed the film one of the worst movies ever made, which I'm sure has nothing to do with the fact that the movie's director, Robert Greenwald, also directed Outfoxed. Oh no, absolutely nothing at all. All I'm saying is that movies about struggling artists who fall in love with roller skating muses and help them realize someone else's dream of opening a roller disco need to take themselves way more seriously and be less stupid. But keep the soundtrack. That was delightful.
What to tell you, Danny? 1 minute she's here, the next minute, who knows?